Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers. Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Hello, I'm Sarah.
And I'm 2B.
And this is the Whispering Woods Haunted episode. This episode, we are going to...
Amazon.
Yeah, we're going... Not the shop. The jungle. So this is slightly different because we're in the Amazon and we're taking a look at their creepy folklore. I'll get straight into it. Are you ready for the story?
Yes, I am.
As the last light of day slips away behind the canopy, the Amazon rainforest transforms into a realm of living darkness. The air is thick with humidity, and the chorus of insects and frogs grows into a deafening hum. Occasionally, the drone falls silent, as if the jungle is holding its breath. In those uncanny pauses, faint whispers and distant cries rise to the forefront. Some swear they hear their names carried on the breeze, or catch a glimpse of phantom lights flickering between the colossal trees. Under the glow of bioluminescent fungi clinging to rotting logs, patches of the forest emit an unearthly green light, and shadows seem to take on lives of their own. Deep within this green cathedral of tangled roots and mist, countless legends awaken. Those who wander here at night often speak. They are the spirits and beings that call the Amazon home, guardians, tricksters, and avengers of the jungle's secrets. There are stories of travellers vanished without a trace, of ghostly whistles in the dark, and of shapes that shift between human and animal. At the break of dawn, a local hunter follows what look like human footprints on a muddy trail. But something is wrong. The tracks seem to begin and end abruptly, circling back in impossible loops. Stranger still, the feet that made them appear to point the wrong way. A chill runs down his spine as he realizes he might be stalking the Kurapira, or rather, that it has been stalking him. According to indigenous lore, the Kurapira is an orange-haired, child-sized spirit who guards the rainforest and plays deadly tricks on those who threaten it. This elusive being's most famous trait is its backward-facing feet, which allow it to leave misleading tracks and confuse anyone who dares to chase. Hunters and woodcutters who overstep their bounds in the Amazon may suddenly find themselves hopelessly lost, led astray by these looping footprints or by other ruses of the Curupira. In the dark tangle of the jungle, the Curupira is said to mimic the sounds of the forest to mislead intruders. Its high-pitched whistles can echo from treetops, seeming to come from one direction when in fact the creature lurks in another. It might imitate the call of a tinamou bird or even a human voice, luring travellers ever deeper into the forest. Seasoned guides whisper that if you hear an enchanting, untraceable song in the foliage, a tune that makes the hairs on your neck prickle, it could be the Curupira singing an invitation to follow. Those silly enough to answer that call often vanish or stumble out days later, battered and half-mad. Early colonial accounts described this forest demon as a truly fearsome entity. The Jesuit priest José de Anchieta wrote in 1560 of demons the Brazilians call Curupira that would attack and whip indigenous people travelling through the jungle, even killing them if not appeased with offerings. Even to this day, some Amazonian tribes still leave gifts at the forest's edge, perhaps a bit of food, tobacco, or shiny trinkets, to pacify the Curupira and seek safe passage. Despite these frightening stories, the Curupira is not merely a malicious monster. In most stories, it emerges as a protector of the wilderness, fiercely punishing overhunters and careless woodcutters. With strength far beyond its diminutive size, it can reportedly break a man's bones or shred him with razor-sharp teeth, which some say are bluey-green in colour. Many Brazilians consider the Curupira a kind of folk hero of the forest, even a state symbol in places, embodying the idea that the jungle itself fights back against exploitation. Parents warn their children that harming the trees or animals could invoke the Curupira's wrath. And behind the legend lies a lesson: respect the rainforest or risk losing your way forever. A lone traveller sets up camp along a dim jungle path in Peru. The night is oppressively dark and still, until suddenly a shrill whistle cuts through that silence. A haunting, drawn-out note that sends a jolt of fear through his veins. He remembers the local warning: if you hear the whistle of El Tunch, do not answer. Run and find others, or you may never return. Also known as El Tunchi, this spirit is one of the Amazon's most dreaded phantoms, often described as the restless soul of someone who died in the rainforest. By day, the jungle's tangle of vines and rivers looks like paradise, but by midnight, it belongs to El Tunch, a wandering ghost said to collect the souls of the lost and punish those who disrespect the forest. El Tunch announces itself with a whistling call, a melancholic tune that echoes for unnerving distances in the humid night air. It's said that this spirit wants you to whistle back, to mimic its plaintive melody. If you're foolish enough to do so, you betray your location, inviting the entity to draw near. Campfire lore holds that a curious traveller who returns the whistle will soon find a pale, shadowy figure materializing at the edge of their vision, Some versions of the legend claim El Tunch can even change its form, appearing as a trusted friend or a lovely woman, or even a child, anything to lure a lone wanderer off the safe trail. But one detail never changes. If you look closely, you might spot that the being has goat-like feet in its human guise, a dead giveaway of its demonic nature. Those who encounter El Tunch report very different fates depending on their behaviour toward nature. If the person has lived in harmony with the jungle, the Tunch might let them off with only a terrifying scare, an ear-splitting shriek out of the darkness, or a rush of cold wind that leaves them rattled. But woe to the poacher or polluter who crosses its path. The Tunch's wrath is fatal. Legend says it takes the life of those who harm the Amazon's flora and fauna. Many a hunter who vanishes in the night is said to have met this avenging spirit. In truth, El Tunch's story feels like a warning, perhaps first told by elders to discourage children from wandering off alone or to instill respect for the rainforest creatures. Even Peruvian folklore resources admit maybe this is just a made-up story in order for tourists and children to take good care of the natural environment. Yet around remote Amazon villages, belief in El Tunch remains strong. The simple act of whistling at night is taboo in many communities, for fear of unintentionally calling a phantom. In the western reaches of Brazil, along an overgrown trail in the state of Acre, rubber tappers once told tales of a monster that crashed through the trees like a bulldozer. A posse of harvesters would be deep in the jungle, enveloped by the usual orchestra of birds and monkeys, when all at once the forest would go deathly quiet. Then a dreadful stench, like sulphur and rotten meat, would choke the air, burning the eyes and throat. By the time they realised what the smell heralded, it was often too late. With a blood-curdling scream, the Mapingurai announced its presence, and panic would ensue. Those few who survived such an encounter described a towering, shaggy creature, unlike anything known to science. A giant sloth-like body covered in reddish fur, long curved claws tearing at the ground, and a single cyclopean eye glaring from a distorted head. Most horrifying of all, when the beast reared up on two legs, standing over 7 feet tall, they saw that it had a second mouth, a gaping maw in the centre of its abdomen, lined with sharp teeth, emitting an otherworldly roar. The Mapingurai's very skin was said to be as tough as armour, impervious to bullets. The Mapingurai, sometimes spelled Mapinguri, occupies that murky space between folklore and cryptozoology. Locals swear the creature is real, the Amazon answer to Bigfoot, as some have dubbed it, while scientists have speculated it might be a cultural memory of the extinct giant ground sloth. Yet the legends around Mapingurai are rich with supernatural detail that defies a purely zoological explanation. Its name in the Tupi-Guarani language hints at one uncanny trait. Mapingurai roughly translates to the creature with a twisted foot or backward turned foot, a reference to its feet being rotated backwards, like the Kuripira. The beast also carries the scent of death, a foul-smelling and hairy giant whose approach you often smell before you see. Some Amazonian tribes described the Mapingurai as a formerly human shaman who broke a taboo and was cursed by the gods to live forever as a beast. In these versions, the creature's monstrous features, the single eye, the stomach mouth, are marks of divine punishment, and its roar is not just an animal cry, but a supernatural warning. Despite its fearsome aspects, the Mapingurai, like the Kurupira, is often regarded as a guardian of the forest's sanctity. Folklore states that it fiercely punishes hunters or loggers who overharvest, trespass, or otherwise defile the rainforest. Normally a vegetarian creature by most accounts, the Mapingurai will make a gruesome exception for those who violate the jungle's unwritten rules, devouring livestock or even people who ravage its domain. In the native stories, a hunter who disappears deep in the woods with only strange tracks and a whiff of carrion to mark the scene, likely met the justice of the Mapingurai. Some tribes perform rituals to appease this giant, for instance, offering smoke or chanting prayers when entering particularly remote areas, effectively asking the Mapingurai for permission to pass through. The creature has become a symbol of nature's retaliation, a reminder that deep in the Amazon, humans remain small and vulnerable. By day, the Amazon's rivers teem with life. Schools of fish ripple beneath water hyacinths. Caimans glide in still coves, and occasionally the pink dolphins, known as botos, break the surface. With their long beaks and uncanny smile-like grins. These Amazon river dolphins are charming and intelligent animals, but according to one of the jungle's most popular legends, they live a double life. When the sun sets and the full moon rises over the black waters, the boto can shed its dolphin shape and walk on land as encantado, literally an enchanted one, a shape-shifting seducer. Many riverside communities tell of a handsome stranger who arrives unexpectedly in their village on certain festive nights. He's dressed impeccably in white, wears a wide-brimmed hat pulled low, and has a mesmerizing charisma. He dances all evening at the fiesta, charming the villagers, especially the young women. But by dawn, this gallant figure has vanished without a trace, slipping back into the river from whence he came. In his wake, he often leaves heartbreak, confusion, and sometimes an unexpected pregnancy. In fact, across the Brazilian Amazon, if a woman ends up pregnant with no evident father, people wryly say it was the work of the boto. Her child is a child of the dolphin. The Amazon is a place where getting lost can happen in a heartbeat. Even without meddling spirits, the sheer immensity of green, the labyrinth of identical trees and twisting vines can disorientate even experienced guides. Over the years, many explorers and locals have vanished, leaving behind only questions. In response, Amazonian peoples have developed a host of superstitions and spiritual explanations for the jungle's trickery. One of the most frightening is the tale of the Chalachaquai, a shape-shifting goblin-like entity known in Peru's Amazon. The Chalachaquai is described as a mischievous forest dwarf who can imitate the appearance of your loved ones or friends. Imagine hiking on a faint trail and seeing a familiar person, a cousin, a dear friend, motioning for you to follow them into the trees. You hesitate, but they seem so real, calling your name. You follow deeper and deeper until the figure slips behind a trunk. When you hurry around the bend, No one is there. Only then do you notice the silence and the single footprint in the mud. A bare human foot on one side, and on the other, a cloven hoof or a backward foot. In that stomach-dropping moment, you realise it was not your friend at all. Too late. The Chulachakwai has led you far off the path and in circles. You could wander for days trying to find your way out.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
So no matter where the forest, there are always some creatures in that forest trying to make you get lost.
Don't go in that forest.
I like the way that some of the creatures are, quite obviously about looking after the rainforest. I love that sort of thing. The forest guardians, I think it's great. And if you misbehave in the forest, we will get you.
You don't know what's in there, right?
No, I love it.
There's probably some undiscovered species.
Cure for cancer. I can remember watching, what was that movie called? The Medicine Man. And they were out in the Amazon looking for a cure for cancer. And I think they just find it when the loggers all go in, it all gets smashed up and they lose the cure. It's a good film.
That's not good, is it?
No, it's a good film.
Yeah.
Recommend it. It's quite old though.
Well, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed and we'll catch up with you again soon.
We will indeed. We will catch you again tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.